Hello!
Hey.
Alright, this is it. This is number 9 of the Hard to Name podcast. This is Adam, and I'm here with Travis, and we have a special guest this week, Lee.
We have a special guest this week, returning. Most listeners know him from the Slam Pigs podcast, one of the most requested guests we've ever had on that show. But Lee, welcome to the Hard to Name podcast. First time, my dear, close, personal, longtime friend Lee, jolly old England. How's it going, man? Welcome.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's a pleasure to be on your podcast.
Dude, it's crazy, because it's like 11:15 here in the States, so it's got to be 5:30 or 6 over there?
It's 4:15 here.
That's fucking crazy.
That is a
dedicated.
commitment to this podcast.
Absolutely.
I've stayed up to this time for you guys.
Oh, man, we totally appreciate it.
We definitely do. And sadly, I'm used to it because, like, most of the people I conversate with on Twitter are from England, so I'm used to the difference.
That's awesome.
I don't know. But it is crazy to think that he's 5 hours ahead. Just time zones are weird in general, you know?
We have a branch of the Red Team that holds down over there in Europe. We have two people, two dudes from Ireland, but one of them goes to school in England. So,
Nice.
Shout out to Red Team Europe division.
I do want to shout out the listeners for once. We're, like, getting more and more views for each episode, faster and faster. So we appreciate you guys taking the time, checking us out, hitting that like, subscribing, leaving comments. Everyone in the Facebook group, thank you so much for interacting. We would not do this if it wasn't for any of that. It would just be us talking, and, you know, that only goes good for so long, and then you want a little feedback. So thank you guys so much. From people like Lee especially. Like, Lee was a listener originally from Slam Pigs, and now here he is. He's been on both shows. So we love you guys. Thanks. And that's my mushiness segment, I guess.
And I second that. But whoever keeps sending me toenail clippings, that's just weird. You're crossing the line. There's being a fan and there's being a stalker. Toenail clippings. You
said you enjoyed that. That's
I'm just saying. If I don't mention it, then everybody's gonna think it's okay, and with us it's personal. But once I start getting flooded with toenail clippings, that's just it. Can't have.
I'm okay with getting toenail clippings. That's okay with me. But when you guys keep sending me soiled underwear, well, maybe pull back a little bit.
Yeah, Gary Fiddler.
That's usually the problem. They didn't pull them back far enough.
Oh, shots fired off the bat from the guest.
But also, we do have a legitimate, real deal question this week to answer, and it's a good question. So I'm excited to answer that. Do you want to do that at the top of the show here?
Let's do it. First question I think we've ever had on the show.
It is, "Hey gay boy, why you so gay?" And I think that came from Marshall.
Born with it.
Yeah, so I'm not going to answer that one. But if I was going to answer that one, it's obviously Orlando Bloom. The real question is, so it's brought to my attention that I guess there's rumors floating around that pre-orders for Metal Gear Survive will come with the HD remaster of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, which may or may not be the best Metal Gear Solid game. I don't know. That game is pretty fucking good. It's not my favorite out of all of them, but I could see how you could make an argument for that one to be the best. Anyways, so as a pre-order bonus with the $100 edition or something, pre-order the $100 edition, you get Metal Gear Solid 3. Kind of very similar to what Call of Duty is doing with Modern Warfare and Infinite Warfare. So the question is a two-part question, which is what makes for a good pre-order bonus, and should you be pre-ordering in this day and age? So I've got pretty strong opinions I've voiced on this show about what I think about pre-orders. But what do you guys think?
I think we've definitely said our piece on it on the show, but I'm always willing to answer any question. Do you think does our guest want to answer the question first, possibly?
Yeah. Let's start with Lee. Lee, what do you
Um,
think about pre-orders, and what makes a good pre-order bonus?
Ooh, that is a very good question, actually.
It is.
I have
I
to
love
think
it.
about this one. Is it? So the first part is the pre-orders worth it? Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yep.
Um,
Like, what would it take to make it worth it to you? Like, what would a pre-order have to do to make you like, okay, take my money? Pretty much, I'm guessing is like the gist of the question.
I'd probably say it's definitely something that would be considered worth it to me is something that is exclusive. You know, you can't get it by any other means. Because I've seen so many of these like pre-orders where you spend like an extra £20 or whatever dollars it is over there, and then a couple of weeks later it's on the PlayStation Store, and it's like, why did I spend this money? Why did I go into a pre-order when I could have just waited, bought it any time, and it's on the store now? If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
totally.
I I feel like there's a case to be made on both sides of that argument. One, I think it is cool. It would be cool to have something exclusive that was never ever re-released on the PS Store. Um, However, at the same time, if some dude is running around with something that you never ever have a chance at getting ever again, even like years later, I feel like that might not be so cool. And the line that you have to walk is basically make it something that's useless. Like obviously you can't put another mission or story pack on that never ever gets re-released at a later date, because otherwise
Yeah,
people feel like they're getting shorted. Um, so it has to be something really stupid, like a costume. And on that level, I don't know if a costume would really be enough to justify a pre-order for me personally. Just because I think
It,
pre-orders are awful.
it always depends on the game and what that skin is, because sometimes I've seen games that from the old classic games have been brought back and they have the skins and they have something that's like nostalgic.
Yeah,
That's always nice.
that is.
You can't.
Sorry to cut you off there, but I saw a Disney Infinity Mickey Mouse costume on eBay for $300, and it was a King Mickey from Kingdom Hearts costume. It was like just a code for $300. I thought, oh my god! But that's what exclusive DLC gets you. It gets scalped on auction sites down the road.
yep.
Well,
It's
if there's people out there who want to take those codes and keep them and then put them on eBay instead of using them themselves, I guess that's up to them.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah.
Personally, I wouldn't do that. I bought that code. I'm using the code.
I think the whole thing is I don't know. A lot of resellers are shady people, and this is like reseller heaven for exclusives. And I don't want to give resellers any more on-air credit than they deserve, which they don't deserve any because they're scumbags. For me, to make a pre-order worth it, definitely adding extra games help. They're good games. That's always a plus. I definitely will take a lot of quantity over an exclusive as far as quality. Just give me a bunch of free stuff that's worth my time, pretty much. And then if the value's right, if I feel like it's justified, I'll get it. If not, I'm never going to pay extra to pre-order something for a skin in a game.
Well, I can't talk.
I mean, we may all be guilty of that, possibly, because I'm guilty of it too. I'm not going to lie. In the
Yeah.
past, but I always felt bad after doing it. And I swore I'll never do it again. And I haven't done it in a really long time, and I don't plan to. So,
Well, I think one of the most interesting
yep.
things about this question and about pre-order bonuses in general is pre-orders are not going away. Pre-orders were around originally because you needed to secure a copy of the game
Yeah.
if you wanted to play it day one, because you did not want to go to the game store after work or after school and the game that you had been waiting for months be sold out. So you had to pre-order. That's not the case anymore. Nobody runs out of the game that you want. And even if they do, there's 100 other places that you can go in your city to get it.
And each and every one of us on this podcast right now can attest to being an OG back in the day when that did happen to us, when you were so excited. And no, it's not there.
Or when some fucking douchebag sold your pre-order before you got there. That always made me really mad too. Like, what the fuck is the point of this? So, however, I think it's good for developers. They like to have some kind of idea of how well the game is going to sell on day one. So I think pre-orders are around for that reason and that reason only these days. I'm not a fan of the exclusive stuff. Because like
let's
Lee
not
said,
kid ourselves. Let's not kid ourselves. Sorry to cut you off. It's not. It is a milking machine business.
To an extent, yeah, but I think it also has to do with how, so they can gauge how successful the game is going to be. But pre-orders are basically saying, yes, I'm signing this contract that I'm going to buy this game from you, regardless of the state that you put it out in, which is why we have so many day one patches and shitty games getting released. However, now with pre-order in games, especially digital, you can preload the game now. So at midnight, if that's your thing, if you want to play a game at midnight, it will load on your system and unlock at midnight, which is neat. That's kind of a neat thing. But that's buying day one, not necessarily pre-ordering. I don't consider preloading to be a bonus. I don't really think that's a bonus, because if I showed up at 12:01 and decided to buy it, I would just have to wait, an hour or whatever for it to download onto the system. So that's not that big of a deal. I think for what the coolest bonuses are for pre-order is tangible stuff you can touch and hold, like a t-shirt or a poster or a calendar, just something like that, because that's something that's probably not going to be floating around in a month on the PlayStation Store. If you pick up like a neat shirt day one, something like that.
Like collector's editions.
Yeah, like just something to, even before collector's editions, they used to hand out shirts for pretty much anything. So stuff like that is always neat. I can remember times where they would give you like crazy deals on the guidebooks if you pre-ordered.
Yeah.
That was always a kind of an incentive to do it. I don't think we really need incentives to pre-order things. I think if you're super stoked and you're super hyped about a game and you plan on going out to midnight release, that you're going to do that.
Going to do
Yeah, regardless of what the pre-order is. The people who sit out there every single year at midnight for Call of Duty, they don't give a fuck what the pre-order bonus is. They don't care if it's like double experience. Yeah, nobody's going, well, you know what? I was going to go out there and stand in line on a work night, but there's no pre-order bonuses, so fuck them. I'm not doing it.
It's becoming like that more and more for more games, like with the standing in line at midnight. Like pretty much every hyped release at this point, it used to be, 10 years ago? Only certain franchises had that kind of love. Not even 10 years ago, would you say?
It's still, not every game gets a midnight release. And more importantly, not every store does midnight releases.
Right.
So
I'm just saying, like, when it happens, even for not even AAA titles, like, it just seems like it happens more and more in this day and age, in 2016.
I went to Skyrim's midnight release because I thought, man, I'm going to get this game. It's going to take me 10 minutes, and I'll be playing it by, 1 o'clock.
Probably like an hour later.
Oh, my God. I waited in line for, an hour and a half. It was awful.
That's yucky.
And I was surrounded by, the douchiest people. It was terrible. And I didn't bring a coat, and it released in November. And I remember thinking, man, I'm going to just run up there and grab this game real quick. I called off work the next day, so I was like, I'm just going to run up there, grab the game. I'm going to be right back. I didn't even take my jacket because I thought, what the fuck? How busy could it possibly be? It's like this little hole-in-the-wall GameStop in the middle of fucking nowhere. And I went out there, and the line went all the way around the building. And I was like, you've got to be shitting me.
Oblivion, that game was fucking hype, dude, when that came out.
No, not Oblivion. Skyrim.
No, I'm saying because of Oblivion.
Oh, yeah. Well, Skyrim was... the hype train was very real on that game leading up to it. I'd say Skyrim was probably even more hyped than Fallout 4 was.
Eh,
Just because
that's a
they
that's a
dropped
tough.
well, Skyrim they had showed for a long time. Fallout 4 they showed up at E3 and was like, oh yeah, by the way, we're making Fallout 4 and it's coming out in 4 months. See ya.
Yeah,
Todd
great
Howard.
question, man.
Yeah,
Great question.
good question. So if you have questions and you want to hear us talk about them and tell you our opinions on them, just write them in the comments or just go outside your door and just yell them really loud. And maybe we'll hear it. Or
We're
maybe
bound to hear it eventually.
your neighbors may just think you're crazy and call the police. Just keep
Well,
yelling until the cops get there. That's really the only way to tell.
Not again.
What's your favorite game? What's your favorite game?
Yeah.
Do it.
Speaking of craziness, though, it's crazy that I watched this movie literally before we went on the air. I haven't seen it. I've never seen this movie, and it's been around for a while. A stinker of a movie, in my opinion. I should have listened to everyone. I saw Priest for the first time. It was pretty bad, I gotta say.
Never even heard of it.
It was. Go ahead, Lee.
I have heard of it, but I haven't seen it either.
It's based off a Korean graphic novel about. They're a group of priests. They all have little crosses burned on their forehead, and they're vampire hunters. And it's very, very badly paced. It deviates a lot. Horrible ending. It totally set up a sequel, but I don't think a sequel ever came or is coming because this game. I even went on Rotten Tomatoes, and I don't go in there a lot, but I was just curious. Got like a 15%. I was like, ooh, God.
You know, it's a good vampire hunting movie.
John Carpenter's
Vampires. Holy shit, yeah.
Holy
yeah.
shit, man. That's
James
weird
Woods,
that you said that.
James Woods and Danny Baldwin. The movie
Just
was
the first
fucking
one.
legit. I didn't know they made more than one. But yeah, that was awesome. James Woods is pretty fucking cool no matter what he does, I think.
I know the main vampire in John Carpenter's Vampires used to scare the shit out of me as a kid. He was vicious.
Man.
The guy with the long black hair looked like Danzig, kinda.
Yep.
That guy was nuts.
If Danzig was tall.
If Danzig was tall, he would have been in John Carpenter's Vampires.
And he wore a shirt sometimes. He could have been.
Lee, have you seen any good movies lately, Lee, over there in jolly old England?
No. Not really.
They've got real vampires over
there. I think the last film that... What was the last film I went to see? Was it Deadpool?
Deadpool was
I heard it was a really good movie. I've never seen it yet.
I think that was it, actually. I think that was the last film that I was actually interested in seeing.
It was pretty good. I didn't have any problems with Deadpool.
Adam, what's going on in your neck of the woods as far as flicks this week? Anything new or good?
Nope. I haven't watched anything that's not a kids movie. Watched a lot of kids movies.
Yeah.
That's about it. Watched Megamind a couple nights ago.
Oh, Netflix.
No, I have it here. Downloaded. But yeah, that movie's pretty good. As far as for superhero movies, Lily got really into it, so.
Secret Life of Pets.
Random Citizen.
Metrocity.
Well, yeah, that's what's going on in the movie aspect of the show, I guess. Nothing too exciting either.
However,
Toe Jam and Earl, though, seems to have a resurgence coming at him.
Yeah, Toe Jam and Earl. That's exciting. There was a Kickstarter about a year ago, I guess, is when it popped up. And I thought, wow, cool. But then I looked it up, and apparently they'd already made a Toe Jam and Earl 3 for Xbox.
Yeah, I didn't like it that much.
Apparently
I remember that.
Nobody liked that game. So I guess somewhere between the Kickstarter and now, Adult Swim is taking over some of the publishing duties for this game, which
apparently.
It looks neat. It looks a lot like the original Toe Jam and Earl,
It
which is not.
That's what I was going to say.
That's not the good one. So it's cool, but a Panic on Funkatron remaster or Something more that played like that would have been way cooler.
I don't know. I like the first one a lot better than the second one.
What? Boom, shaka shaka clap.
There you go. You know what? I smell another Aladdin type debate
Oh
right there.
my God, you'll get creamed. Don't even step
I
to
threw
this.
it in the stand.
Don't
I
even
threw it in the
step.
stand.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Nobody's gonna agree with you. That's a
Well,
horrible. That's a horrible stance.
let's get a start on it right now. Lee, did you ever play Toe Jam and Earl back in the day?
I'm afraid I didn't. I have to admit.
That's good. You need to get on that, my friend. That's a great series. I mean, I like both games, Adam. It's not like I hate the second one. I just like the first one better.
I hate the first one.
Are you kidding me?
No,
You go
I'm
around
not.
and you find stuff, and it's big.
I don't like the first one at all. I played Panic
And
on
you won't-
Funkatron first, so when I went back
So
to
then,
play
I
the
guess
original,
you're not excited. You're not excited for this remake then, because it's like the first one.
I am. Just because it's Toe Jam and Earl, I'm sure there's going to be some elements from Panic on Funkatron that'll be in there. There's got to be, at least on some level. But man, goddamn, that game was good. But the first one, it's not horrible. But imagine playing the second one for a really long time and then finding out that there is another one, and then you go back and play it, and it's kind of like mediocre in comparison.
Yeah, but you can't compare those two. The genres are pretty much completely different.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like a totally different game. I don't know. It'd be like if a little kid grew up playing Mario Galaxy his whole life, and then somebody was like, "Hey, play Super Mario Brothers." He'd be like, "What the fuck is wrong with
That's
you?"
a pretty big stretch right there.
That's what I mean. I feel like everybody loves Mario Brothers because it's such a universal name. But had no one played Mario Brothers and just started on Mario 64 or even Mario World, it's not that big of a leap between Mario World and the original Mario Brothers. But I think you play Mario World your whole life, and then you go back and try to play Super Mario Brothers, and you're gonna be upset.
You know, here's something I wonder. Since we have Lee on the show, I know the Mega Drive over there, was Toe Jam and Earl popular over there
Um,
back in the day?
well, the only problem is when the Mega Drive was out, I was young, so I didn't really know many people who had one, and there was no way of knowing what games were popular. So it's hard for me to re-answer that, I'm afraid.
Fair enough.
Terrible question for our guest.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. He will learn. He shall learn.
Well, I'm going to go over here in the corner and grab some whiskey, drink my sorrows away now.
Toe Jam and Earl better than Panic on Funkatron.
Put it up. It's go. You know what? I'm doing it after the show. It's run up in
It's
Facebook.
on. It's on. You did it. You did this to yourself.
Even though we just sat here and said you can't compare it, this is strictly a case of playing favorites. So.
Yes, absolutely. It definitely. I will totally tell you that the Aladdin thing was a favorites thing. Aladdin for Sega was just my personal preference, but I do believe it is a better game. But that's why it's my personal preference. I believe Panic on Funkatron is a better game. So we will see. You hear that? Everybody, if you're listening to this on YouTube, go in the comments. Tell them boom, shaka, shaka, clap.
You know, the third one for original Xbox, they added a female character, and she was terrible. The music was awful in 3. I remember. I don't know. It's one of those games where you don't manage those expectations, as we love to talk about, and I didn't. And I was so hyped because I loved Toe Jam and Earl, and it wasn't good at all. And I just moved along.
That's really sad.
But it's seen a resurgence.
Goddamn you, Xbox. You take things, you break them apart, and you ruin them. Like Conker.
Don't go eating the original Xbox. It was a good little system for what it was.
Took Rare and just destroyed. They bought up Rare and were like, "You will never make a good game ever again."
Yeah.
Fuck the Xbox.
Just re-releases of retro collections, which I want to pick up actually, the Rare collection.
Yeah, apparently.
Eventually.
I just read yesterday that it has like 30 games on it.
Yeah.
So
it looks awesome.
That's pretty solid. That's a solid run of games. Rare used to be good. I'm not saying they're. I guess all they're doing is like connect shit now, but it's sad. They were once a great company.
Yeah, Star Fox.
Donkey Kong.
Yep. Well, do we want to take a break before we hit the game of the week and all that good stuff, or do you want to just trudge through?
Let's just pretend to take a break.
I was
Just
just
All
going.
right.
So, sorry.
we'll cut it later.
Well,
We're
every.
going to break. See you right after these messages. And we're back.
Oh, we're back.
There
Um,
we go. That's how we do breaks.
Well, we covered everyone's movies they had going on this week. What about the gaming area? Lee, what have you been playing lately, my friend?
Pretty much like Overwatch.
Right on.
I've always been a fan of League of Legends games, but that's not really a new game.
That's a way of life, apparently. I've never got people have actually that play the game warned me don't play it because it'll become your life, and I don't want that to become my life.
That is actually true, unfortunately.
I'm bad with my gaming addictions when I get into it, honestly.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I just bought that new game for the PS4 from Square Enix, the I Am Setsuna.
Oh, nice. How's that?
You guys heard of it?
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good, you know?
I've heard it's
So
kind of watered down. Is it?
I still
any
want to play
truth
it.
to that?
I don't know because I haven't seen the original, so it's hard to really say if it's a watered down version.
Well, it's not. It's a brand new game, but it's kind of a throwback to some of the earlier Final Fantasies and Chrono Trigger, which
Yes.
are the absolute masterpieces. So I think a spiritual successor to Chrono Trigger, I feel like would have to be an 11 out of 10 to really satisfy anybody's appetite for that kind of game. So it could just be people being overly critical. Yeah, I was.
I think if you're going to compare it to like the old classics of Chrono Trigger and all that, then unfortunately, probably yes, you are going to be disappointed because those games were just amazing.
That's inevitable if you're going to compare it to that, you know.
But it's literally a throwback to the old style of the JRPGs where it was turn-based and it wasn't all about running around and trying to attack the person from behind. It was straight up just wait for your bar to fill up and pick attack, magic, items, defend or whatever. And it's a nice return to that format, which I always enjoyed.
That's awesome. I would like that to come back. The action RPG has completely dominated the market over the last couple of years. I think a good turn-based RPG. Hopefully it sells well, and people see that.
I would suggest picking it up if you can, if you enjoy the old classic style.
I might just do that.
It looks.
I'm not a crazy
It
fan
looks
of the
really
art
good.
style. I don't think the art style. It looks a lot like Final Fantasy III when they re-released it for the DS. Not Super Nintendo, the actual numerical 3, not 6, not the Super Nintendo version.
The proper
Yeah.
free.
The proper 3.
Yeah.
That was probably my least favorite Final Fantasy game.
The one with the weird leveling system was 3, correct?
It was the job system, but it wasn't
Job, yeah.
as refined as they had done it in Final Fantasy V or 2, what we call 2 here in the States. I don't know what you guys call it over there in Europe. I'm guessing probably the same.
Probably the same thing.
But yeah,
Which one?
I hated Final Fantasy III for the DS. That game sucks. And I hated the art style. And the art style, unfortunately for I Am Setsuna, looks like a very stylized version of a DS game. That makes me angry.
I actually dig buy it, and I've also got it for the PC.
Nice. So who's your main over there in Overwatch, Lee? Because Adam doesn't play Overwatch, and I always bug him. He's got to get into it because it's awesome. And he just won't do it.
If I'm going to pick, if I only had to play one hero for the rest of the game's lifespan and all that,
On an island, alone.
yeah, Diva.
Yeah, that's a safe bet. You can always fuck some shit up with Diva. Dude.
I loved her from the get-go. So
She's
read through all the characters, and that one just went, "Hi, I'm Diva. You're going to like me. Yes, I am."
well, she's got the total balance of all the tanks. She's so fucking. I don't want to say OP because that word gets thrown around a lot when it's not even necessary. But man, just the whole shield, you can just fuck shit up like so good. If I had to pick, I'd probably go Lucio because I love that wall ride and he's my main healer. There's no question who my main healer is in the game. So he's just become I started as Pharah was my main because she reminded me of Samus. I mean, just I don't know something about her, but then I don't know, dude. Lucio is my guy. I don't know how I feel. The couple patches and the updates and stuff. Zenyatta's been all over the place. Christ, they've up and down. I don't even know if you play as Zenyatta at all.
Which one?
Zenyatta.
Is that a game?
It's a character in Overwatch. The Indian guy. It's Indian style.
Oh, him! Oh,
yeah.
God. I've played him a few times. Sorry,
I'm guessing he's not one of them.
No. He's paying a butt to play games, but I've never actually took the time to pick him up.
Yeah, I mean, always on tap for myself is Overwatch. If I can fit some time in. I don't know. Did placement matches come back? Has that happened with season 2?
Season 2?
Has season 2 dropped yet for competitive play? I'm not sure. I haven't been on it.
There were seasons yet.
Oh man, yeah, you definitely got to check out competitive play on Overwatch if you're into the rank stuff. Like all the golden weapons.
As soon as I get to level 25, I shall.
But I'm taking pity on Adam right now because I feel sorry for him. So, because he doesn't know where we're at.
Clue. What you're talking about? I'm holding
on.
For
me, gaming wise, sadly, Adam, I've been playing a lot of an action RPG, Rogue Galaxy. It's always been a phenomenal game, favorite of mine. The Final Fantasy X remaster, which you and I talked a little bit off air the other day. I forgot how much of a cutscene the game is. I still love it. It's just, man, sometimes I just want to play.
That is maybe the best Final Fantasy soundtrack, too. That's something we didn't talk about the other day.
Oh, man,
I love Final Fantasy VII soundtrack, and 6 has the whole opera thing. But on a whole, 10 soundtrack is just fantastic. It's a fantastic soundtrack.
I think 12's is better.
Well, that's because you're dumb. That's
I'm a 12 fan boy.
That's horrible. Oh my god, that's even worse than the Toe Jam and Earl thing, man. That's
you know what? I take that back. I can't say that just because of that intro song alone for Final Fantasy X is so good.
To Xanarkin, yeah.
All that stuff. So you know what? Scratch that. I stand corrected. I'm man enough to admit it.
I can't think of
12
any
is not better.
Memorable tracks from 12, to be honest.
Hey,
there's not much memorable shit at all for 12, and I poured like 90 hours into that game. And
I enjoyed 12.
I don't know what I was thinking.
I remember Luke Perry and his bunny girlfriend, for some reason, running around Beverly Hills 90210. And Captain Bosch was the coolest dude.
You've always been so mixed on 12 because of all the hours you put into it. Like, I know you said you'd never want to play that game again in your life.
Yeah,
I think you said it on the show.
I think I did say it on the show.
Would you still call it a good game in your opinion at the end of the day?
It was. In retrospective, I put too much time into that game. 90 hours I never should have done. It was a better game than 13. But everything was just so brown in that game, and the texture models were all crap compared. Like, you go from 10 to 12, and it actually looks worse. I feel like the world is more bland. I don't know.
Well, that's not fair to compare that because 10 is completely linear as far as the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that is true. You can make a good linear Final Fantasy game. Not proven with Final Fantasy 13, but it's possible. But 12, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yasmat was a cool boss. The work that I had to put in to be able to beat Yasmat was legit. The struggle was real. It was not very rewarding. Actually beating him, other than just being like, I did that. But I guess that kind of goes with all optional Final Fantasy bosses. There's not at that point. By the time you beat the optional boss, they're usually way harder than the actual end game. So it's kind of a wash after that. That goes for every Final Fantasy. If you can sit down and beat Emerald or Ruby in 7, you're not going to have any problems with Sephiroth. Same thing with Ozma in 9. If you can beat Ozma, you're just going to walk through the rest of that game. You're not going to struggle at all with the rest of the game. You'll just mop everybody over. So, I don't know. Yasmat was a cool optional boss, but it's not one of my favorite Final Fantasies. I will say that. And I've beaten all of them that aren't MMOs or weird spin-offs, like X2 or 13.2 or 13.3. Haven't played any of those. Playing 13.1 was bad enough.
What was that?
13.1 was bad enough. That's enough 13 to last me a lifetime.
With Lightning McQueen.
Mm-hmm.
Lee, what do you think of... I know you talked a little bit about Final Fantasy X. In your opinion, you said it was the last good Final Fantasy game based on story development, all that stuff. Do you think that all the I don't know, the obvious hype over 15 coming out, think it'll live up? Do you think it could bring the series back to glory? Or do you think it's just going to stagnate for eternity? Not to get all heavy about it.
Well, I have had the pleasure of playing couple of the demos for Fantasy 15, and from what I've played so far, yes, I think it could actually bring it back. It actually feels like a really good game so far. Of course, then again, those are demos, and they always try and bring up try and show it in the best light possible. So who knows? Maybe it'll be a total disappointment when it finally turns up.
I think there will be an exception to the hype rule with 15. I think the people that are super duper into this, that have been talking about Final Fantasy 15 for the last 10 years, back when it was Versus 13, I think the people that have been around for this long, waiting for this game, I don't think they're going to be disappointed. I think everyone's expectations are pretty real. I don't know if this is going to be the best Final Fantasy game ever. The demos are impressive. I wasn't overly into them. It reminded me a lot of Kingdom Hearts, and I'm not a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. I'm not saying that Kingdom Hearts sucks. Or am I? I guess I could be, but I'm not.
Is he?
So, but it plays like a Kingdom Hearts game. It's the dude that made Kingdom Hearts is I guess the main director behind this one. So, it could, I think it'll do fine. I think it'll sell fine.
Yeah, they're all going to sell fine. I want the series to get back on track, I guess is what I should have said. Not financially, I mean just creatively, I guess.
Creatively, I don't know if there's ever been a track for the Final Fantasy games. I think pretty much each...
I should just say, make them good again.
Yeah, make them good again. I'm down with that. Hopefully it's fun.
I want a t-shirt that says make them good again. And I want it as a pre-order when I get Final Fantasy 15, so please.
I wonder what the pre-orders for Final Fantasy 15 are. I know they have
I don't know. I was just kidding. I was just saying I want a t-shirt. I made a really bad joke. Forgive me. Okay, can we move on?
No, I think the pre-order should be like a beer. Because if you've been waiting for this game since you were a child, chances are you're old enough to drink it.
It's on us. Sorry.
Remember when I saw this game when I was 10 years old? It's finally out, and now I'm 21 and old enough to drink a beer. That's pretty awesome.
They have a little hand cart waiter at the line at GameStop serving drinks.
Serving drinks.
Taking over. There's a
Thanks.
bartender back there at the GameStop, guys.
Thanks for waiting. Move along. Thanks for waiting. Move along.
What can I get you? Oh, and what game? Yeah. Adam, what have you been working on? Get all those Riddler trophies yet, my friend?
I'm done. I'm done with Arkham Knight. I am done.
Did you 100% Arkham Knight?
Oh yeah, I went way over 100%. I got the platinum. I did like 120% on both playthroughs. Actually, I think on New Game Plus I didn't do 100%. I think I just beat the story.
Very nice. Well
But
done.
yeah, fucking those Riddler trophies suck, and the challenges this time around are a lot easier because there's a lot more challenges and you don't actually have to do them all. And some of the challenges are kind of fun. All in all, I don't want to spoil anything about this game. I think the ending sucks. So,
Yeah.
if you like the ending and you're listening to this, fuck you.
Stop being silly.
Stop being
because
silly. Because
I don't think I've heard anyone say ever that's played that game they're happy with the ending in that game. It's not very popular.
I'm not gonna.
Okay.
I don't want to get into spoilers. I don't want to spoil
No,
the game
we're
for
not gonna
anybody.
do
But
that.
do you remember when The Dark Knight Rises? How everybody was like, "What a terrible way to end this trilogy." that's kind of how Arkham Knight was like. You know what? I love the way that movie ended. Let's do something very similar, and it just doesn't make sense and fucking stupid. It's stupid. So I finished that. Went back and started playing some other stuff. Downloaded all the Fallout stuff. Now that it's, I think the last DLC drops on Tuesday, so I'm getting all my ducks in a row for that. But until that happens, I picked up Resident Evil 5 again.
Nice. And you cut out. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, Adam cut out. I can't hear him.
Can you hear me?
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, now I can hear
There
you.
we go. Yep.
And we're still on the air.
We're still on the air. Technical difficulties. No, so Resident Evil
It's all
5,
good.
got that. Running through that again. Doing a red team run through. So, that's fun. And
Right on.
then Bioshock. The Bioshock collection drops in September. Which, I don't like to get excited about stuff, but fuck yeah. Bioshock is probably one of my favorite games of all time. The original one. So that's going to be exciting to play through that again next month. And then Skyrim. I realized I'm only excited for games that I've only played already.
You just keep forgetting stuff. You're like, oh yeah, and this.
Well,
And so much
it's
stuff
like
coming out.
I was looking to buy a game after Arkham Knight, and I was like, oh, maybe I should buy Final Fantasy VII. Well, I have played that a lot, and it's an old game. It's like, well, I guess I'll just settle with Resident Evil 5. Wait a minute, I've played that too, and that's kind of an old game. And, well, what's coming out next month? Oh, it's Bioshock. Okay, I played that. like a long time ago. And then Skyrim comes out in November, and that's what I'm excited for this year. Which sucks, kind of, but I'm not excited for Final Fantasy, I'm not excited for Call of Duty, I'm not excited for Battlefield.
You got to get excited again about something.
I
You gotta
am.
get
I'm
hyped.
fucking hyped for Skyrim and Bioshock, but
There you go.
there you go. Fucking
Old faithful games.
yeah,
Games that you know they're already going to be good.
yes, and I think
You need
that.
to take a chance.
However, I was on the Bioshock hype train originally, and I remember being super bummed
I've
that
only,
that
I've
came
only
out.
ever played the first one. I never played 2 or 3.
That is the best one. The first one is the
I
best
really
one.
like
The second one
I
is
like
is the worst one, and then Bioshock Infinite is a pretty good game on its own. But yeah, that's
Lee, Bioshock memories?
So what was that?
Bioshock memories for you? Did you ever play any of the games in the series?
I played the first one a bit and the third one.
you played the good ones.
They were good. They weren't really my style of game, unfortunately. But I did enjoy what I did get to see. So I suppose that's a testament to how good they are. If it's not my style of gaming, I still go, yeah, I'm still impressed. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was a really good game. I remember it was kind of scary too back in the day, with all the lights off.
There's a few parts of that game that are equally scary and disturbing. I've had this conversation with my brother often about scary games. What is a scary game? Obviously, now that the world we live in now, it's PT. PT is the scariest game of all time. I don't think there's a scarier game than PT. However, for a long time, I really thought BioShock was the scariest, creepiest game of all time. Just because there's a lot of creepy shit going on down there, and you're trapped. The whole atmosphere of being in this underwater city, it's amazing.
Claustrophobia kicks in.
Exactly.
Big time.
That's one of the feelings that you don't get in the third one, because you're in the city in the sky, Columbia.
Yeah, it's totally off what the original meant to do in that aspect.
Yeah, you don't feel trapped. It's definitely it's a lighter game. There's more, obviously the sky's there, so it's not as dark and as dank and as claustrophobic. And I feel like that kind of is what makes the first game edge over top of it, as far as actually being which game is better. So there's that.
There it is.
And then Lego Batman. I've been playing Lego Batman.
He just threw another one out there. Lego Batman's always good.
Lego Batman's not really always good, but I know if I don't get through it, I'm never going to get through it. So I'm soldiering through Lego Batman.
The first one or the third one? The third one was kind of, I don't know. It was alright.
The third one, it's really Lego Justice League, which is a little bit more than what I bargained for when I picked this game up.
It's a good segue to tonight's top 3 later in the show. We have our usual segments coming up, and we've gone about an hour. So
yeah, we're about 45 minutes. We could probably move into top 3.
I didn't know if you want to take a break or do you just want to keep it going?
You want to just do a fake break again? We can put a promo in the middle.
Fake break.
Hey, how do you guys? I don't want to pull the curtain back here, so you don't have to answer. How do you do the promo breaks on Slam Picks? Do you guys actually go and cut and take a break? And then come back?
Yes. Yeah, we take a break.
I wasn't sure if you just edited that in post or so.
No, we take a break for a couple minutes, and then we just come back.
Do you take a break and actually watch the promo, or do you?
Sometimes.
That's neat.
It's Slam Pig, baby. We get them all out.
Cool.
Yeah, speaking of Slam Pigs, thank you for the cheap plug by the way. I'm going to be on the Obtuse Angles podcast this Tuesday. I think they're based out of Milwaukee. These guys are pretty legit. They're pretty funny. So if you're into wrestling comedy, it's like a comedy wrestling show. So for all the wrestling nerds that listen, there you go. I'll be on that show talking about the best and worst wrestling games of all time. And, man, just rapid fire, top of my head. I don't even have to think about that
It's
question.
the TNA of wrestling podcasts.
Man, you better go and represent. You got to go and represent.
I will represent. I was on their show the other day, called in for a segment, plugged this show and Slam Pigs. So don't worry, Slam Pigs Nation and the Hard to Name podcast is getting some play, doing my best. So there you go.
Man, don't let anybody shit on World Tour or Revenge. Promise me you'll go there and not let anybody shit on those games.
I shall stand by my game.
Good.
Revenge.
Good deal. Throw fist fights if you have to. Just fist fight everybody. Don't take no shit.
Thumbtacks, all good standard. I do also want to say that Adam broke his game review chair today. It dropped on Hibiki TMD. Check out the Tech and Tag review for PS2.
Check it
Adam
out.
made a little guest spot.
Also,
Thankfully,
check out Tech and Tag because that game's fucking awesome.
Both of them.
Yep.
2 is really good too.
2 is really good.
And thankfully, we have the best sounding show I think we're going to get. So thanks for listening through 9 episodes of finally finding our touch with the audio. So hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, we have all the tweaks worked out. But Adam, where are we at in the show?
We are actually, before we get into the top 3, we need to get into Game of the Week.
I was going to say, and it was my Game of the Week. Gentlemen, did everyone, I know Lee got to play the Game of the Week this week. Adam, did you get a chance?
I did. I got to
And
play it. I felt really dumb because I actually played the Japanese version for like 10 minutes. Not that there's a huge difference, however, and it could just be complete coincidence, but when I did play Hagain, the Final Conflict, as the file was called, the US, um, I got the extra man drops were like all over the place, which were not in the Japanese file that I played. So I don't know.
typical.
Could have been coincidence. I only played it for 30 minutes, so it could have just been coincidence. But I felt like I got a lot more love handed to me on the U.S. version than I did in the Japan version.
Well, let's go ahead and tell everyone what the game was. It was Hagani, released for the SNES and the Super Famicom. I believe it was a Blockbuster exclusive. This wasn't in like gaming stores. You can only like rent this at Blockbuster. It goes for pretty astronomical prices these days, complete in box. I fucking love this game. My fingers are crossed that Adam agrees because I've been waiting and waiting to see what he thinks about this game. If you can deal with insanely frustrating difficulty, but fair difficulty, I think. You're graced with so many sub weapons and abilities and extra lives if it is the US version, like Adam said. There is totally a difference, by the way. The Japanese games were notorious for making their games harder in this
Dude,
era.
it was nuts. I wish I would have just started with the US version. As soon as I did, like on the fourth thing that I killed, I got an extra man, and I was like, huh. I haven't seen that in the prior 20 minutes of playing this game.
Yeah,
I
I've
ended up
always
getting
wanted to
like
go
3
like,
extra men.
yeah, I've wanted to go like full out review this game on the channel, and I still might one day. Everything for me, the graphics, I love the soundtrack to this game. I think the controls are spot on. But that's my piece on it, gentlemen. Hagani, I don't know who wants to go first, but what did you guys think?
You go ahead, Lee.
Sorry.
I already heard Lee's response earlier, and it was an awesome comparison to a more modern game. So go ahead.
Well, I'll say it here so everyone knows. I thought it was pretty much the Dark Souls of the Super Nintendo. It was really, really difficult. I mean, played like 2 hours of it, and I couldn't get past stage 1, 2. Which is quite embarrassing. But the fact is
that's
that
where I
even
made it.
with all that, I was still going. I can do this. I can. If I just do this again, I can do it.
It's one of those. It's the difficulty I love the most in games. That Ninja Gaiden difficulty, where man, it's kicking your ass, but you just want to keep trudging through and beating it. You know.
True. It was almost that sort of thing of you ain't beating me. There's no way you are beating me on this.
Yeah.
But I gave up.
Adam, it's killing me over here. What did you think of Hagani?
Actually, it's funny that Lee picks a more modern game to reference to. For me, it reminded me a whole lot of the early Batman games, Batman for NES, and then The Adventures of Batman and Robin. And I think that mainly had to do with the subset of weapons and how you had to scroll through them and trying to figure out, like, what does this one do? What does this one do? What does this one do? I think you've pretty much nailed it on the head. It's incredibly challenging, but every time I died, I thought, yeah, I deserve that. Like, I didn't ever feel like, this game's fucking cheap. One thing I did think was really cool is that some of the bad guys, if they don't actually hit you with the sword, you don't take damage. So you've got like this hitbox that can kind of you move through. So if you're fast and if you can move around them, you can avoid taking damage. But yeah, 3 hits is not very much. At one point, when I was doing pretty well, but I picked up some extra power-ups. That's another thing with games like this that I am not a fan of, is all these different power-ups and ammo types. It's a lot to take in all at once. You run out of weapons. And this is all, I want to make this clear, because for what we do with this Game of the Week thing, it is the 30 minutes. 30 minutes, it's either a game we've played before or a game we've never played before, but play it for 30 minutes, form an opinion. So that's what I could probably play that game for more and maybe walk away with a slightly different opinion. But for the 30 minutes that I played, I would say it's a good game. I don't think it's a great game. I'm probably not as in love with it as you are. I don't think it's a bad game, and I don't think it's unfair. The graphics are fairly good. There's a lot of confusing shit to pick up, though, and I think that takes away from it. I do not like scrolling through sub-weapons at all.
Yeah, it's either hit or miss for people.
It's totally not necessary. I think subset of weapons, nobody has done it better than Castlevania. Let me have the cross. No, let me get the holy water. Okay, that's all I need. Now I have the holy water. I don't have to fucking worry about fucking scrolling through different things. So there's that.
Do you feel that way? Like when a shoot 'em up incorporates that, an old school shoot 'em up has sub weapons. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, very similar. And for the most part, though, I mean, the graphics were good, especially for the time. That they would have been very good. The music is cool. I dug the music. I made it about as far as Lee did. I think I made it to the end of 1-2, which when you beat the first level, and you think, yeah, and then it's like 1-2, like motherfucker.
Yeah.
This. This is
my biggest claim to fame and progression in this game is 3-2. So there, and I've been playing this game for years, and I have a really sad story to finish off this segment when you're finished. By the way, about Hagani.
Nice.
So,
nothing says awesome like sad stories.
Well, it's a good story. It's a good sad story. It's an interesting story, and I'm a dumbass story. Me myself, I'm admitting it before the story.
Well, it's all in all, it's good. I think I liked it better than Cheeky Cheeky Boys. So.
Yeah, I would say.
Cheeky Cheeky Boys sounds funnier to say though. That's a funner
It
thing
does.
to say. So. But yeah, I don't know. Should we grade these? Do you want to start grading these games?
We totally can.
1 to 10. 1 to 10, I would give it like a 7. I'd say it's an average game. It's fun. I would play it again.
That's fine by me because I'm relieved you didn't hate a game I liked for once.
No,
So-
I don't. I definitely don't hate it. I could probably, like I said, with a little bit more time, I could probably figure out what all of the things I'm picking up are, or what's important, or recognizing enemy patterns. That was something that once you start to figure out, like, this guy's gonna jump at me. This guy's got that fucking axe thing that he throws, and when he doesn't have the axe, he can't hurt me. And then you got these goddamn birds, and then the bats. What fucked me up in 1-2 was those little black slime ball things. I don't even know what the fuck they were. But
Your best friend, believe it or not, is your little dodge move. That's like you find yourself doing that more than actually walking in the game, at least for me.
yeah, I liked. And as far as the subset of weapons go, I like the. I guess the hook shot. I don't fucking know what you call it. I thought that was neat.
Yeah.
It wasn't the strongest weapon, but it was cool and it didn't seem to run out. Either that or I just kept picking up ammo for it. I don't know. I couldn't
No,
figure it out.
that is the one unlimited sub weapon.
Okay, that's what I wasn't sure. I used it a lot, and I would switch back and forth between that and the sword. So
Lee, Professor Lee, what would you grade Hagani?
1. Nah, joking. I'd probably agree with Adam. It was a 7. A strong 7,
Yeah.
but a 7.
I'd say a strong 7, like a C plus.
Strong stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, guys. I have to go with a B or B plus, that area. I'm not in love with it. I just think it's a great game. My sad story based on the game, I used to own this game, not complete in box, but like, I don't know, at least over a decade ago, I had this game. I stumbled across it at a flea market of all places, paid like $6 or $7 for it. Ended up getting stolen from me in one of my moves years and years ago, in between moving or whatever. I've seen it go for now, complete in boxes, as high as $3,000 fucking dollars. So definitely kick myself in the ass for that happening, but that's my little depression of the show for it.
Dang.
Yeah. That is probably my word. Besides, like, all my Ninja Turtles figures, which go for crazy prices now. I know you can relate. I don't know if you have a lot of yours.
Oh my God, no! I sold all of them for $10.
Dude, I had everything.
I
I'm
had
sure you did
everything
too. I had
too. Yep. I had the Technodrome, everything. Everything went for $10. Because I was like, man, I'm getting rich. Look at this, $10. I'm like 11 years old.
Or you'll die trying.
Yep.
I can beat both of you if you want a sad story about losing stuff as fortune now.
What you got?
Let's hear it.
You remember the old Transformer toys?
Yeah.
Yes.
I used to own quite a lot of them when I was a kid.
Yeah, I had a few.
And one day I came home to find out that my mother had taken them to the local school and gave them away for charity.
Man, that's some
And
Toy
now
Story
I
3
take the
shit.
piss out of her every day because now they're worth like from 100 to like £2,000.
Holy cow.
And it's like, imagine what would have happened, Mother, if you didn't do that.
Oh, man. At least they, if there's any solace there, it was for a good cause, I guess. But, man, that doesn't make that pill any easier to swallow, I don't think.
No, it's straight out of Toy Story 3. What
I'm
the mom
still
did.
drinking beers to swallow that pill.
Yeah. That was a good game of the week. We have a guest on, Adam. Does he want to pick our game of the week for us to play? We want to leave it to us, the listeners. Do you want to go? How do you want to do this?
I like Lee. I'm going to trust him. I'm going to trust him to pick the game of the week.
All right.
Yeah. You didn't tell me I had to pick this.
You can take your time.
This.
You can get back to us, but we'll give you the next 15 or 20 minutes left of the show.
Yeah,
This
that's
like a
fine.
good-
I'll think of one.
Think of something.
Retro.
Yeah, some kind of retro game.
Something
I'd say prior to the. Did you say prior? Anything prior to the PS1 is easy for us to play.
Yeah.
PS1's where emulators get a little tricky. Anything about that?
I have a N64 too. I can play it.
Yeah, I've got 64 emulators are so hit and miss though. Like
They're touchy as shit.
some games run perfectly. Like Mario 64 runs pretty perfectly on almost every 64 emulator. But
Then you try to play Star Fox 64 and it all goes to shit. At least for me.
I cannot ever. I've yet to get Shadows of the Empire running on the Nintendo 64 emulator.
And
Breaks
you
my
know,
heart.
we've said it before. We said it before many times on the show, and people want to give us shit about emulating. Man, it's all about playing the games. Like, I'm not
First
one of
all,
these
who's giving us
diehard.
shit? Who's giving us shit? Tell them
People
to
have
fuck
given-
off. If you're listening to this,
There's always like elitists out there. Oh, you're not really playing the game. Well, I have a fucking controller in my hand, and it's pretty damn close of a port.
yeah.
So,
close
it's
enough.
perfect.
The world we live in with virtual console, you can't shit on emulation anymore.
No.
There could have
It's
been
irrelevant.
one point in time, but it really is just you have no
I guess-
argument.
I guess it was more of a disclaimer, is what I was saying. Don't give us shit because it's not a big deal to emulate, guys.
Don't give us shit, or we're gonna find out where you live, and we're gonna come there, and we're
We're gonna bring Gary Busey.
Yep. We're gonna break your window and then blame it on the neighbor kid. So get ready. It's happening. Don't fuck with us.
It's coming.
But
Lee is.
oh, sorry.
No, I just said you're speechless. Then you talked, and I'm an asshole. There's more.
That's fine. I was just going to say, I find it so weird when people say like, "Oh, you shouldn't be playing emulators. You should be playing the original game." You know.
You shouldn't be having fun. Don't.
Don't smile. Stop smiling.
Like the other day, it's like you just turned around and said earlier, a copy of Hagani is going for like what, $3,000?
Dude, yeah,
I don't care. I'm one of the biggest fans of video games. I love playing video games. There is not a damn game out there that's worth £3,000 to me. Not a single one.
I gotta say that's outside of my threshold. I don't think.
I know I have a lot of friends that listen to the show that do that. I mean, if that's your thing, by all means, spend away. But I'd rather pay my lights and feed my kids.
Exactly.
you know, things you kind of have to do. So
These are what I don't get is, are these the same people who are saying don't read ebooks? Does that not count?
aren't they
if you
one
read
and the
Catcher in
same?
the Rye on your Kindle or your iPhone, are you not really reading Catcher in the Rye because you're not
Yeah.
holding the first edition of the book in your hand? Like, what
I'm
the
sure
fuck?
it's the same circle of folk that spew this shit. I'm
Fucking-
just saying, little disclaimer. We're going to play what we want, how we want to play it. Doesn't matter. So,
Yep.
there it is. Where are we at, Adam?
We're like an hour and 5. We're pretty good on time. But I do think it's time to move into the top 3. Unless you got anything else to...
I'm pretty set. I'm ready for the top 3 this week. Lee,
Before we
anything
do
you
the
want
top
to add?
3, seriously, if you hate emulation, you're a fucking asshole. Okay, I'm done.
You're a prick.
I'm done.
It's like, I will totally play the Neo Geo game you want me to review, but you have to buy it for me, because I'm not doing it. That's the deal, and I think it's a fair deal. You get my quality entertainment, and you just give me like $300.
Have you ever seen a Neo Geo?
I have seen a Neo Geo.
My brother was over. We were playing Metal Slug the other day, and it dawned on me. I've never physically pictures, but I've never known anyone that has had one of those. Nor have I ever seen one at a store.
My friend Nathan, when I was in high school, he had the Neo Geo Pocket Color and played a lot of King of Fighters on that. As far as the console, I've seen it in stores. I've never actually physically owned one or knew anyone that owned one. I did grow up a lot on the SNK multi-game arcade cabinet that was at Turner's Bowling Alley on Virginia Avenue. Shout out to our local.
Shout out Turner's. Is that still there?
I don't know.
That's probably gone.
No, it's still there because my
yeah.
family lives over there.
So my niece had a birthday party there a couple years ago. They did not
Yeah,
have that multi-arcade cabinet, though, anymore.
Do you remember playing it? They had Moonwalker, too, for a little while when we were kids.
I remember Moonwalker at the Valley Mall. Maybe it was at Turner's, but I could have sworn it was at the Valley Mall.
You know what? There is something I want to talk about. Speaking of SNK, I fucking want to get my hands on King of Fighters 14. I love the demo. I don't know if I talked about that last week, but I've heard it's really good. Graphically, it's SNK. It's not really expected to be good. Don't expect this guys to compete with Street Fighter 5. But I've always, honestly, something about King of Fighters at times I love more than Street Fighter. So I just think it has more of a cult atmosphere. Obviously, the roster and characters are, I don't know, I would say bigger than the Street Fighter. I don't know. I just love the whole team fighting thing. Stems back to the Tekken review like we were talking about. Yeah, I just wanted to give that little mention to King of Fighters 14. And top 3 time if you would like.
Top 3 time. Lee, are you ready for the top 3?
I am indeed. I have my list ready, and I think I've picked 3 games that you 2 probably won't pick.
Okay, cool.
See,
I'm fairly certain.
That's what we love is preparation. Thank you, Lee.
I think I'm going to go out there and say that all 3 of my games are... Both of you have probably picked... Between the 2 of you, I think my 3 games will fall into both of your guys' categories.
Probably.
Well, I doubt it.
All right,
Let's see.
Lee, you can go first. Start with your number 3. What is your number 3?
What is the top 3? We didn't even say what the top 3 was.
Yeah, I guess...
That probably would help.
That probably would help. So, top 3 this week is top 3 superhero games.
Yes.
It's just fun.
Now, Lee asked me a question. If our listeners have the question initially upon hearing that, they have to be characters, in my opinion, previously based. They can't be like a Beautiful Joe or something like a...
Dumb. That's dumb.
That's a dumb
superheroes are superheroes.
Oh.
You'll see.
I thought
You'll see with my list.
All right.
I don't like that
I'm
rule.
hoping I've got it right.
If you have it wrong, we'll talk off air and we'll make sure that you're taken care of.
And we'll belittle you. We'll belittle you.
I'm
and
in
make you
England.
feel awful.
You can't get to me.
That was a very good comeback. I got nothing for that.
I can always
so
get to you emotionally. You remember that.
All right, fuck it. Any
No.
any and all superheroes are welcome.
Any
Fuck
and
it.
all superheroes. So.
Well, I guess I'm going first then, ain't I?
Yep.
Do I have to doing a top 3 or?
Yes.
Yeah, probably have to do in top 3, don't I?
Well, just do the third one. Just do the third one.
Okay. Number 3. Earthworm Jim 2.
Nice. Good choice. That is a very good choice.
Do I say why, or do I just go into
no,
number
go
two?
ahead. Go ahead.
I just thought it was an amazing platformer. It was fun. It was wacky. It had good controls. It was literally the first fun superhero game that you got to play when being on the Super Nintendo.
The only disagreement that I have with that, I would say Earthworm Jim HD, like the HD remake that they made of the first one. Just because they made everything look so good, but they kept everything, the whole Earthworm Jim feel. But no, that's an excellent choice.
I love Earthworm Jim games. I cannot argue with that.
Had no one mentioned Earthworm Jim, I was going to do a shout out to Earthworm Jim for not picking it. That was almost my number 3. Would have been Earthworm Jim HD. So, good pick.
Thank you very much. Number 2?
No, we'll go around to everyone's number 3.
Sorry, go on then.
I don't know. Adam,
you want me to go next? Okay. My number 3, and I would be shocked if it's not on Travis's list, but it also, I think Travis went into this with some stipulations that I did not. But my number 3 would be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time for the Super Nintendo. That game is awesome. I feel like they, by definition, count as superheroes. And that game is a lot of fun. Superhero games in general, you've got to kind of pick and choose from the 16 and 32-bit era. Superhero games, I don't think really started being good games until the last couple of years. So Turtles in Time was the oldest one that I could think of.
I have so many PS2 era games on my list. That's
cool. Well, what's your number 3?
Well, I do want to give a shout out. Surprisingly, I don't have a Turtles game on my list.
Wow, you fucking dropped the ball on this one, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. But great pick. I mean,
I really thought you would have. I was afraid. I almost didn't pick it because I thought you would have picked it. It was your number 1 beat 'em up. So
I know one of my picks you've never played for a fact. I do know that.
Cool.
But my number 3 pick, I'm pretty sure you played. Probably going to cause a little bit of controversy, but it's just based on, I guess, what I like. And what I like in a superhero game is truly feeling like that superhero. You're right, I did go into this only kind of sitting on this list all day with like actual comic superheroes. So number 3 for the PS2, The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction. I love that game. I love throwing pigs at cars. It's just a great action game.
I have never played that game. Is that the one?
Oh.
I've never, ever played that one. Nor have I really had any... I'm not a huge Incredible Hulk guy.
I'm not a huge Hulk guy, but I loved this game because you literally felt like Hulk, like you could... Any vehicle, just toss it around. I mean, they did this for like the PS3 and 360, The Incredible Hulk. Pretty much took the same formula, but not nearly as good, I think, in this version.
Now, is this game based off of that Eric Bana movie?
Yes.
Okay. That movie sucked.
The gameplay was totally the same way set up to be like the original for PS2. But yeah, I just love that game.
Good.
So come at me.
Good pick. I'll say good pick because it's obscure and it really caught me off guard. I never would have expected that. So
I have gone back in the last couple of years. It does hold up in my opinion. So
cool. All right, Lee, what you got for number 2?
I was debating which one to put at number 2. These two, this and number 1. But I'm going to go with something a bit different, slightly, from most others, and I'm going to pick Injustice Amongst Gods.
Oh, nice.
The fighting game.
Yeah, the fighting one, the one made by the Mortal Kombat guys.
Oh,
Second one is right around the corner.
Yep.
Because there is nothing more fulfilling to me than getting to beat up John Cena. I mean, Superman.
Nice.
It's such a wonderful feeling.
And
it's a really good fighting game as well.
I love what you did there. I love how you tied it all together. Both podcasts, you mixed it all up into one little beautiful ball of goodness.
I aim to please, darling.
That's a good
Call-
pick. That is, I would. That's a fair pick. I know DC did a run of comics. I don't think it was a huge run, but the events leading into the game. So yeah, that's a good one. And from what I understand, it holds its own on par with just a standard Mortal Kombat game as well, as far as gameplay goes. So that's a good
Believe it
pick.
or not, I've actually never played any Injustice. I did play DC versus Mortal Kombat for 360. If that counts.
I played both of them, but only for a very short amount of time.
I don't like the tamed down fatalities. I hated that. I think it took a lot, but DC didn't want their characters to be shown killing, and I know why it was done and all that stuff. But yeah, a good pick, Lee.
Just
Good
make it all friendships. To my biggest fan.
Make it all day-balities. Run a daycare center. And then it's like a STEM daycare center.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you now.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you can't have fatalities with DC characters. Fatalities is a Mortal Kombat exclusive to me.
That is true.
I know. I'm just saying. How badass would it be to see Batman just... I know Batman doesn't kill. I get it, guys. Just the visual, though.
Batman doesn't kill.
I'm just saying.
He wouldn't be Batman.
Badass.
That's like the one thing that well, I guess Batman doesn't kill after the Golden Age.
Batman only has friendships.
Like Alfred comes out and everybody just hangs out together. Like,
what would his friendship entail?
That'd be awesome.
That would be fucking
Alfred
awesome.
comes out and he makes s'mores for everybody, and everyone sits around and tells stories. That's
Batman just
anyway, way off topic.
Batman looks sad as fuck, and like Alfred's serving up like ham from a platter, and everybody else is happy, but Batman's sad.
Batman's sad, and then Batman's friendship is your character like writes in the card and cheers him up.
I'm sorry your parents are dead. Let's be friends.
Sorry you're a shut-in recluse with issues. I don't know.
Well, that's a good segue to my number 2, though, which I'm probably going to get some shit for not having it at the top of the list. But I'm going to say Batman Arkham City. I wanted to only pick one Batman game to put on this list. I think, obviously, the Arkham trilogy or quadrilogy. What? Quadrilogy? I don't know. 4 games. I count Origins.
Yeah,
I have no clue. Arkham Origins counts. Those are all fun games. I think Arkham City is the best one out of the 4, so I wanted to pick that. It didn't do... It showed a lot of love to Batman fans in general. And it wasn't just a love letter to Batman fans. It was also a very, very, very good game on its own. So it probably should be my number 1, but it's not going to be. I'm going to leave it at number 2 because I've got something a little bit, maybe not a better game, but a little bit more unique and something I liked a little bit more. So that's my number 2. And if you haven't played any of the Arkham games, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Seriously.
Yeah.
Go play them. Even if you don't like Batman, go play them. What Tony Hawk did for skateboarding, I think the Arkham games did for Batman or superhero games in general. So.
Great pick. You can't argue with that one either.
Nope.
So.
What you got for number 2, Travis?
Number 2, the game I knew you didn't play going into this. You played the first one. Probably know what I'm going to say. Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
For the Nintendo GameCube, not the PS2 version. I prefer the GameCube version. I think it looks better, plays better. Love that game.
I've heard nothing but good things about that game. I've got to get my hands on a copy of that.
It made Spider-Man so, I don't know, like valid as a gaming franchise again. Spider-Man's taken a beating in games over the years. People don't realize that. The 64 PlayStation Spider-Man, I actually liked a lot.
I was going to say, that game was fucking awesome. I was just talking about that game earlier today with my brother. Spider-Man, the 64 game, was good. Now here's what I don't remember because it has been a very long time since I played that. Did that have voice actors from the show, from the Spider-Man cartoon?
I believe so.
Do you know who did the voice for J. Jonah Jameson in the show? It was fucking Ed Asner.
Do you know who did the voice of Shredder? Obviously.
Shredder. No, I don't. Who did the voice for Shredder?
Uncle Phil from the Fresh
Oh yeah,
Prince.
I knew that. I knew that. And you know, Splinter was the dude who did Elmo. Splinter in the
Really?
movie. Yeah. And did you know the dude who did the voice for Spider-Man was Greg Brady in the Brady Bunch movie?
Huh.
Boom.
And did you know that this game is also a must-play if you're a fan of any kind of action game? This game perfected the web slinging. It was done in the Amazing Spider-Man re-release for the PS3 and the 360. I just think it was done the best in this game. Spider-Man 3, fuck that game, fuck that movie. Let's not even mention it anymore. That needs to be. But this is where it's at for Spider-Man games, in my opinion. When Spider-Man went through the ringer, I was talking more like Revenge of the Sinister Six, the NES Abominations, the Atari Abominations. Maximum Carnage. I know you love Maximum Carnage.
Love Maximum Carnage and Separation Anxiety.
I think they're both good games. I just think they're really hard for me. I have problems with them for some reason. I think they're a little slippery, but I mean they're good games. But yeah, definitely. Lee, any memories of Spider-Man 2?
Is that the movie one?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, not really. I played the first one and it was so bad I didn't even bother
Oh my
checking out the second
blasphemy!
one.
Adam loves the first one. I'm not a big
I
fan.
love the first one. I played the shit out of that game.
I didn't.
It's fucking Spider-Man hanging down from the ceiling, like dropping down on people, punching them in the face. That's what Spider-Man does best. Punch people in the face.
I think he's talking about the first PlayStation 2 one, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Tobey Maguire up in the house.
That game is not very good.
Shout out to my boy Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
If you're listening, hit me up. It's been a while. Hit me up.
He owes me like $50, so tell him to hit you up fast because he won't answer my calls. I know he needs work.
Hit
That's
me up,
mean.
Tobey Maguire. I'm not gonna make you pay Travis. That's between you and him. Hit me up. I want to go out to lunch or something.
Lee, number 1 all-time superhero game, in your humble opinion.
Well, keeping on the theme actually, which is going to be interesting. I've actually picked a Spider-Man game.
Nice.
It is probably the PS1 version.
Oh, sweet. That's the one we were just talking about then. I think,
so
right? Wasn't the 64 and the PS1 version a port? Weren't they ports of each other?
Yeah, they were the same game.
Okay, the ones with the costumes and all that.
Yep.
Yeah, you could get the black suit, right?
Yeah.
That's the only one I remember. Because what other suits does he need? Fuck Ben Reilly suit, Clone Wars Saga suit. Black suit's where it's at.
I hope it's the same game.
I think it's. I'm fairly certain it is. I think
it's not the one that's based on 8 movies. It's its own storyline.
Right? Did the Scorpion kidnap J. Jonah Jameson in that one?
In the very beginning.
So. I think the game starts off with like Dr. Octavius doing a press conference, and then a fake Spider-Man turns up and steals his adventure and all that.
Yep.
Yeah, that game does not get enough love. Like, you don't hear about that game. It's always about Spider-Man 2. But great pick, Lee. I think you redeemed yourself in Adam's eyes for not liking the first Spider-Man game for PS2.
Man, I loved everything about the Spider-Man movie. Every fucking thing. I loved it.
I like the Spider-Man movie. I just didn't like the Spider-Man movie game.
I love the game. I love the Nickelback video. I love the fucking movie. I love it all, man.
Oh my god, somebody actually enjoyed the Nickelback.
They're playing on the rooftop and Spider-Man swinging all all over the place. It's amazing.
And Josie Scott is there, and
Josie
it zooms
Scott's
down.
looking tough. Looking probably the toughest he's ever looked in his whole life.
And the sexiest he's ever looked.
Definitely the sexiest.
Yeah, that spray tan going.
That throws back to the listener questions of, hey, yo, gay boy, why so gay? Josie Scott.
I thought you were going to say, what justifies a good pre-order? Well, give me a Josie Scott
Give me a
t-shirt.
Josie, yeah, fucking, I'll rock a Josie Scott t-shirt.
Just the picture of his face. Man, I wish you knew this inside joke, Lee. We tend to do this to people.
Yeah.
We're bad at it.
Lee's probably figured it out. I'm pretty sure I've posted that video like 4 times in the Hibiki TMD webpage.
Well,
So
what's one more time?
what's one more time? It's coming
I
up.
will watch it after this show.
It's amazing. So yeah, love Spider-Man. Speaking of, before I get to my top one, I wanted to shout out Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions for the PS3. That was a good game. It was cool because it dealt with 4 different Spider-Mans. You had regular Spider-Man, you had Ultimate Spider-Man, who was still Peter Parker, not Miles Morales, Spider-Man Noir, and Spider-Man 2099. And they all, have their own levels, and they all kind of have their unique play style. And they all have to work together at the end, blah, blah, blah. It was a fun game, though, as far as superhero games go. It almost made my list, but I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, I think Turtles is better, so put Turtles on there as number 3 instead of Shattered Dimensions, but it almost got on my list.
Awesome.
So that said, my number 1 superhero game of all time, and like I said, I probably should have been Batman, but it's not. It's Infamous, made by Sucker Punch for the PS3. That game is awesome. It has a super awesome twist at the end. It allows you to play the hero or play the villain, depending on what you want to do and the decisions that you make, which aren't really decisions. They're basically like forced decisions with the illusion of choice is kind of what it comes down to. You do have some say in what happens, but at the end of the day, it's pretty cut and dry. You do this or you do that. It's not like Skyrim where you can be a complete asshole and then do nice things.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of one or the other. I mean, you can ride the fence or try to ride the fence, but that's not a fun way to play. Anyways, the game's writing is phenomenal. It's a really fun game. I'm pretty sure it's the first thing Sucker Punch did right after wrapping up the original Sly trilogy on the PS2. I think they went to work on Infamous. It's a fantastic superhero game. A very, very, very cool twist ending. And that's why I put it up there. The second Infamous game is not really that good. They made one for PS4 that I didn't play. Then they made a spin-off of that one called First Light, which was okay, I guess. But the first one's where it's at, mainly because of the writing. It was done really well. So that's my number 1. And if you don't like that, then you can suck it, bitches.
I do I used to have that game. I like that game a lot.
A game, so you know that I didn't want to spoil. It's been 10 years. If you haven't played Infamous yet, then fuck you. I'm going to spoil the ending. And if you don't want to hear that, just skip ahead 2 minutes. But yeah, the whole Kessler twist ending, when you find out that it's really him coming from the future, I thought that was fantastic. This is just really, really good superhero writing. That's the kind of cool shit you'd hope to read in the comic book. So I thought they really hit the aesthetic of making it a superhero game without actually needing any kind of licensed properties to achieve that. So yeah, number 1. Spoilers.
Very good. I'm digging everybody's list, definitely.
This was an easy one to put together. I didn't really have to rack my brain. I knew what my top 2 were immediately. And then I just had to narrow down which one was going to be in the top 3, or made it to the number 3 slot.
I guess it's my turn for number 1.
Your turn for number 1. What you got?
I do have honorable mentions of my own. I want to shout out X-Men 2 Clone Wars for the Genesis. I love that game.
That game is not good. It's good in a sense, but only because I wanted it to be good. It's just really fucking hard.
It's up there. It's a good game to me.
If you were going to throw an X-Men game, I'm sorry to cut you off, but another...
Well, I wasn't done.
Another X-Men game... Well, no, let me hear what your number 1 is first before I go on with honorable mentions.
No, I'm just saying honorable mentions. X-Men Legends 2 was definitely an honorable mention. I definitely considered putting that on my top 3. Marvel Ultimate Alliance was pretty good, but I just loved X-Men Legends 2.
They just re-released both of the Ultimate Alliance games for PS4 and want $40 a piece for them, and apparently they are a broken mess.
Yep, not worth your money. I've heard bad shit about that.
I got excited when I saw them on there. I was like, holy shit, look at this. That'd be fucking awesome.
My number one is probably out of left field. An Arkham game is not on my list. I'm gonna say
Wow,
that.
that's
I know
fucked.
it's up there, man. Narrowing this down for me, I put this down to time played, how much I truly love the game. You may or may not agree. My number one favorite all-time superhero game is Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Yeah, that counts.
Yeah,
At
that
least
counts.
halfway counts for the Marvel
I
half,
think
not for the Capcom half. That doesn't
I
count.
think they nailed all the playable Marvel characters. And trust me, I thought about just talking about the Marvel side. I'm not going to mention the Capcom side at all. But the Marvel characters' powers were pretty much to a T of what their special moves were. Beautiful the graphics, man. This is definitely in my top three fighting games of all time. I'm going to say that straight up. I love this fucking game. Everything about it. Um, Man, I wanted to put Arkham City because Arkham City is my favorite in the Arkham series. I wanted to put it up here, but for nostalgia purposes, for just time spent with the game, got to go with Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is my all-time favorite superhero game.
I will say I am utterly shocked that no one picked the X-Men arcade game or the Avengers arcade game.
Thought about X-Men, did not. I didn't. I like the Avengers arcade game, but it pales in comparison to the X-Men arcade game.
Well, that's because nobody gave any fucks about the Avengers up
Yeah.
until like a couple years ago. I remember
Exactly.
being like, "Oh, they only have the Avengers game here. Like they don't have the X-Men game."
I thought Vision was awesome for some reason.
Man, I remember playing as Iron Man for some reason. I would switch between Cap and Iron Man, and I think Hawkeye was in that game. And I thought he was kind of cool because I thought he was cool because he reminded me of the dude from Gauntlet. Like that's how little I gave fucks about Hawkeye as a kid.
Yeah. Now the Avengers NES game was awful.
I don't know if I ever played that one.
It was just shitty. I'm not even going to describe it here. The Batman NES game I thought about too, putting on this list.
That almost made my list until I remembered that I hate that game. Because
How could you hate that game?
I hate that game. It's hard. I used to rent it all the time, and like I don't think I've ever made it to the second level.
Really?
I haven't played
I
it in
hate
like
that game.
20 years, but I rented that game all the time as a kid and remember thinking this game's fucking hard, and I never wanted to go back. I've gone back and played like 2 or 3 minutes at a time. Like, okay, yep, this is gotta somehow jump up on the wall, I guess. All right, I'm done. But I've never put any kind of real effort into going back and playing that game.
I've made that game my puppy dog bitch on numerous occasions.
Nice. Also, nobody mentioned a Power Rangers game.
Well, there's a reason for that.
I don't know, man. The 2D fighter Power Rangers game is badass for Sega.
Fucking Game Gear Power Rangers was awesome.
Always with the Game Gear.
Love the Game Gear. I gotta love the Game Gear, man. Game Gear is legit.
I saw an offer for a crystal blue clear Game Gear for $40 the other day. I was gonna jump on it, but somebody already beat me to the punch.
That sucks. The blue ones were so fucking cool, and I wanted one so bad, but it was so impractical because I had a black one that I didn't have like the nerve to try to save up my allowance or ask anybody to buy it for me because I was like, I have one of these already. But goddamn, that blue one looks fucking cool.
Yeah. Oh god, I don't even want to talk about it. It's another Hagani syndrome. It's making me sad.
Well,
Lee, what do you think about Marvel vs. Capcom 2? Before we take it home here on the show.
It was a good fighting game. I enjoyed it when I played it. Yeah.
Lee says he hates your game. How you like them apples?
Well, I feel like I didn't want to. I always mix it up for the show. I don't want to be so generic in my picks because you know what I'm saying.
That's where that's kind of why Arkham City landed number 2 on my list because it is probably the best superhero game out there. It is probably a better game than Infamous, but I feel like Infamous worked really hard, whereas Batman's like, I'm a licensed property. I'm just gonna feed you stuff that you love from the comic books until you shit your pants. Yeah. Whereas Infamous was like, hey, these are all brand new characters, and I've got to figure out a way to, 1, make you care for them, and 2, make the game fun, and 3, somehow still pull it together at the end to surprise you. So I thought they did a really good job with that.
I do want to go back and play that game, actually, now that we're talking about it. It's been a while.
Second one's not so good. I don't know if you ever played the second one. It's not that good.
No, I've never played it.
They kind of shit on the first one. Like, the whole beast that he was trying to avoid turns out to, like, not be that big of a problem. Like, the whole reason, like, he came back from the future to train himself to be able to take on this thing called the beast. It was like, oh, that's the beast, is kind of a letdown. So...
Well, Lee, my friend, I know it's late over there in the good old jolly England. Thank you so much for joining us and taking time out of your sleep schedule to be on the show. I thought it was great having you on. Hopefully, with the schedule conflicts with the Slam Pigs 25th anniversary this week, we'll definitely get you on Slam Pigs soon, man.
I'm looking forward to getting on there. Do you guys want the game of the week from me?
Yep.
Still?
Yep. You got it?
Yes.
Yeah. I had a good think about it, and I thought I'd just pick something nice and simple, because since unfortunately I probably won't be back for the next one, but sadly, I know it's so disappointing for you guys, but I am going to pick a sport game for you guys to play.
Okay.
One that I very much enjoyed when I had a Super Nintendo.
Not Mega Man Soccer, please.
Damn. No, I'm joking. No.
Batman.
Nice and simple.
Batman baseball.
No, that's for the week after.
That game's so fucking weird.
Ninja Batman Baseball? Yeah, that
that's
game's
what
awful.
it is. Ninja Batman baseball. That's what it was.
Don't hate on that game.
That game's fucking strange.
It's none of those. I don't know if you've played it before, if you've ever heard of it. Super Punch-Out.
Fuck
Oh, yeah.
I'm totally game for that.
That's on my Wii U. I can just fire that up anytime.
Same here.
Oh man, I haven't played Super Punch-Out in forever. I was about to throw down a bet with you, Travis, to see who could get further in 30 minutes, but I'm fairly certain it would be you if you have it on your Wii U. It's been a long time since I played that one. I play Punch-Out all the time. I play Punch-Out regularly, like every month or so. Like fire it up, see how far I can get. But Super Punch-Out, I'm not as experienced with. But yeah, that's a great game. That's a super great game.
I'm not gonna lie, I love the Wii version too. I have that and I play it still sometimes.
Yeah, the Wii version's legit. I've only played that a handful of times. I do have it, and I got it and was like, holy fuck, this is everything I wanted it to be. And like I just kind of went back to playing something else instead. But yeah, Super Punch-Out, that's exciting. That's got to be better than fucking Zardon. What the fuck is the name of that game? Zardion.
Thanks, Ben. By the
Yeah,
way,
thanks,
again.
Ben. God damn it.
But yeah, Lee, thank you so much, man, and we'll definitely try to have you back on in the future, dude.
Absolutely. Lee, you were awesome.
I hope to come back again.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for all your input and your picks. Your picks were good. The game you picked was good. So, you were a good guest.
Thank you very much.
And with that, I guess let's just end it abruptly this week instead of shouting out anything.
No, we can't do that because next week is a milestone for the Hard Hitting Podcast, number 10.
Number 10. That's
Don't know if we'll have a guest.
It's a pretty weak milestone, but it is a milestone. We'll get there.
Pretty weak.
We're getting there. When we're celebrating, I don't know. I feel like 25 should be the real milestone to get to. But
tomorrow night, I'm very excited, Slam Pigs 25, to have our friend Eric Imard from First Thing in the Morning on YouTube on, so that's going to be awesome.
I got some noob questions for you, too, when we're done recording this for Slam Pigs. Noob questions of the week.
And Lee, I'm sure you're thankful that Michael was nowhere in sight, or to be heard, I should say.
Yes!
We try to tell guests beforehand on Slam Pigs, Adam, and Adam knows all this. I don't know why I'm even bothering explaining. My brother, Mike on the Slam Pigs podcast plays a character, like a bad guy character. He goes overboard sometimes. Check out the latest episode. You'll see what I'm talking about. But it's all in good fun. I don't think anyone gets truly offended. But he is a little hard to take sometimes when he's fueled with that liquid courage. So, yeah. And that's it. Let's end the show.
abruptly. I'm Travis. Goodbye.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Hey guys, Mike here from the Slam Pigs Podcast, reminding you, as always, check us out on Twitter, at Slam Pigs Podcast. Check us out on Facebook, the Slam Pigs Podcast. Or, as always, check us out on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button. Hibiki TMD is where it's at. Until we meet again, oink oink.
Hey guys, you can follow me on Twitter at the Hibiki TMD. Check out the Hibiki TMD Facebook group for everything retro gaming, pro wrestling podcasts, and everything in between. Thanks for watching another video, and thanks for stopping by on Hibiki TMD.